Okay, so let's see if this works. Experimenting today, trying to get back into the habit of recording voiceovers for videos and getting back into making more speed videos. I have received one single message from one individual requesting that I go back to making videos. So that's what we're gonna try to do eventually. We'll see how things go. Yeah, so welcome to my first speed build of 2021. Hopefully not my last. I guess we'll find out in the coming months. But yeah, so this build is a build for Quinn and Allie. Now Quinn and Allie are two of my characters from my Generation 3 storyline. And with Quinn and Allie, their storyline is never ever, I never write about them. I don't do anything for them. And I decided that after season 4, are we on season 5 or season 4? I don't even know what season I'm on with right now with my story. But if you follow me on Instagram, I have a generation story going right now. Currently we are on a bit of a hiatus, and that's simply because I have too many ideas and don't know which direction to take them. And so I figured I'd start with building Quinn and Allie's little one-bedroom home that they have. I ended up starting doing this build in because I wanted to give their home more of a jungly type of feel. I did originally want them to still be in Sulani, so I ended up moving the house over there. This is a rental property, not a residential property, and I couldn't change that. I tried, I really did try. And so having them rent the property and going over there, if I had any issues with anything I had placed, I couldn't move them, and I hated that. I really don't understand why build mode can't be accessible when you travel somewhere that's public, or I feel like build mode needs to be something that you can access, and the fact that you can't when you're on a rental property or when you're traveling to a public property, drives me insane, especially because you build this property, you spend an hour, if not 2, working on this one location for this one scene that you'll take 5 photos of, maybe 100, and then only select 5 of those photos, and then you end up not ever really going back to it. And it's kind of frustrating how you finally get there and you're like, well, now I can't take any photos because I have to restart. That's my little rant about that. But originally I wanted this home to have more of a jungly type feel. I went for a really dark color scheme to begin with, and decided that it wasn't the vibe I wanted, especially considering that even though the build was in Selva Dorada, I wanted them to still live in Sulani. So I had to change the colors up a bit and lighten that tone. However, I really do like the darkness of this. I feel like part of me should go back and redo it with these colors so that it's just the original vibe of it that I had. I don't know. We'll see what I decide to do with this, if I even finally pay some attention to Allie and Quinn. Allie is the daughter of Generation 2, what's his name, Alex? Ugh, I don't even know my character's names. Alex and Tilly got married, and before they were married, they found out that Alex had a daughter, and so they adopted her, found out they were having twins, and then later were married. Now with Allie, she was in a skating accident, and her skating accident happened right after the funeral, where she discovered that she had this long lost relative that she never knew. Turns out that long lost relative is actually her father. I don't even think I even touched on that realization for her. I think I put her in a coma, and that was that. She ran away with her friends after the funeral. It was an ice skating accident, basically landed on her head. She was distracted with her thoughts of her grandmother, who had been taking care of her. I guess her mother and her stepfather, who was Alex's brother, died. I say I guess, but like I wrote that. Why am I guessing? Alex, it was her biological father, but thought that his brother and his, at the time, girlfriend had cheated together and ran away to have this child that he didn't realize that they had. And turns out that wasn't the case. Alex left for his own trip to Selva Dorada, or whatever I had written, and for his own studies, because he does marine biology. And it turns out that he has this daughter. Wow, I feel like that was a really long explanation to say that, hey, this guy has a kid. And so Allie has this side story where she wakes up in a magical location because obviously I had to do something with witches and all that. And I ended up not really actually following that story for very long. It did take me a couple months though. And when it came down to it, I miss my other characters and I can't incorporate them into this because this is so out of the reality realm realm for me, realm of magic. And so I was like, no, I would really prefer to get back to my main characters. So I woke her up from her coma and we kind of jumped back into things from there. And then I skipped several years to do a time skip so that we could jump into Generation 3 and more of their story. And Allie hardly, other than that side story, she really has no attention. Before Brian and Nigel, I guess you could call them the Generation 2 heirs, the main characters of Generation 2, before they were married, we briefly touch in with Allie and see what she's up to. And after her coma, she just continued doing really great with school and was applying to colleges, and that was kind of where I left Allie's story. With Quinn, this girlfriend of hers, I really wasn't sure how I wanted to incorporate Quinn. I wanted to have the household have like a nanny because of Tilly and Alex's work. They're often taken off to different parts of the islands to do their research, and Tilly's a writer, so she takes all of Alex's research and they put it into a book, and that was kind of like their main thing. And so I wanted to have them have a nanny. Well, Tilly has these twins, and Allie meets Quinn, and Quinn's the nanny, and then as soon as I introduce Quinn, she's gone because she has to go to college. And one of the storylines that I never even approached on was that Allie was going to run away with Quinn when Quinn decided to go to college because Allie hadn't yet been accepted to colleges. But I ended up not doing that. Instead, I just decided to do a time skip and focus more on finishing up Generation 2. So, did the time skip. Nigel and Ryan got married. They had another baby. 15 years later, we're focusing on Carter. And Carter's been the main focus of Generation 3 for sure. Well, Carter decided to cheat on his girlfriend. They got into a fight after she thought she was pregnant and the test came up negative, and he went and cheated on her, and then a month later cheated on her again after another fight they had or something, and then found out that this other girl that he had been cheating on his girlfriend with was pregnant, and then fast forward a little bit longer and finds out that his now ex-girlfriend is also pregnant. So he's got 2 kids that are arriving, and he impregnated 2 women within the same month. So that's been a lot of fun. Kind of comical really though. It's just the fact that this Carter was supposed to I wanted him to be loved and everything, but he just came off as such a jerk to begin with that I really had to try to give him some redemption or something. So the last couple months in the story, I definitely tried to get him to grow up a little bit, accept more responsibility, and then for the month of December, there was this entire storyline dedicated to a potentially fatal car accident. And I did so much research for this car accident, and it's amazing. I wanted it to be realistic, and I say it's amazing. I know that sounds kind of obnoxious, but because there was so much research that went into it and I had so much fun doing it, that's why I say that. And basically the way that the car had hit Avery's car because she was driving really kind of sent the passenger seat forward. So based on that impact, Bridget should have died and the baby should have died. But instead, I strung along this storyline for a month, and in the end, miraculously, everybody that was involved in that car accident walked away alive, and they should not have. So that's kind of what has really been going on mostly in the story. There's been a couple posts since I started this voiceover a month ago, and just kind of trying to get an idea of where everybody is at so we can get an idea of where to jump into next. So the next coming posts are going to be featuring Jackson, and then we've got some more posts with Alyssa and Quinn. Maybe we'll touch in with Carter and Avery and Bridget, but I kind of want to give them a break. We've been focused on them for so long. So yeah, I'll let you know when that starts up again, or if you follow me on Instagram, you'll already have known by now.